You ready? Right. So, there I was. And we were looking at research teams because the problem was, it's quite simple to define. Omega-3, as you all know, is an essential nutrient, it's an essential fat, particularly when we look at EPA and DHA, the body can't produce it. It plays an integral role in resolution of inflammatory responses. And when we look at the DHA component, recognizing that 60% of the brain is fat and 20 to 25% of that fat should be DHA, hugely implicated in child development, hugely implicated in cognitive function, and people are deficient in it. So this is a situation that needs to be resolved. The obvious one is eat fish, because we know that's where we get it from. But you don't need a calculator, you don't need to be an advanced mathematician to go, okay, so we all need to eat fish. There are 8 billion people on the planet, we all need to eat one a day. Okay, we've probably got 2 days worth of resources if we pull 16 billion fish out the sea. And then the planet will be in a catastrophic state of disrepair and we'll die because we've killed our own environment. Not a good option. The second one is supplements. And I've worked in sport for a long time. And I know for some people, they have this notion about supplements and they're a bit standoff. And I know there are some nutritionists who are so opposed to supplements and they preach and they're influencers about nature and everything should be natural and everything should come from your diet. And I agree. It should. But I also am aware that we have over 8 billion people. 100 years ago, we only had 2 billion. Same size planet, same resources, we have to do things differently. Also, to get a sufficient amount of nutrients from the fish, they have to be fresh, wild, line-caught fish, packed with nutrients, so by the time you ingest them, digest them, and absorb them, there's sufficient amounts of nutrients to make a change at a cellular level. 8 billion a day. We can't do it. So back to supplements. I'm okay with supplements, but a report in 2018 by Cochrane, Systematic Review, that looked at across 79 of the highest quality trials, including 112,000 participants, came to the summary that omega-3 supplementation, the effect is low to none at all. So supplements don't work, and we can't get enough fish out of the sea, and we've got a global deficiency of an essential nutrient. Now, what was, when I say 2020, what's the first thing that springs to your mind?
COVID.
Sorry, have you all been speaking loads? COVID. Don't tell him. Is it PTSD? Alright folks, we're all safe, we're okay. What was it you remember about 2020? COVID. So, I was at home, in lockdown, living my best life, I won't lie. I didn't have to commute anymore. My daily commute was about 120 miles. I was at home, the weather was great, I was working away. But if I'm honest with you, I was at a unique point in my entire career. I was expected to write a report that would inform a research strategy that would propose a solution. And all across the northwest area of the United Kingdom, they were about to commence a strategy to address this. What can we do? How can we fix this? And for the first time ever, I was working towards a conclusion of a report that said there is no feasible way to address this problem. Supplements don't work, there's a huge amount of climatological issues around taking fish out of the sea. We're stuck. And then, and I promise you this is true, the phone rang. And my phone rang a lot in COVID, promise you. Typically it was people going,
which type of vitamin D should I take?
That happened a lot. But this time it was an old friend of mine who'd had some health issues earlier on. And he'd been living in the States. At the time, he was working for a huge US clothing brand. I think they're quite big over here. Under Armour, have you heard of Under Armour? Big brand. And he was quite senior. He'd had some health issues. And he just out of the blue said, Colin, you're my go-to guy when it comes to nutrition. People always say nice things when they want something. And he said, my doctor over here has told me that I should start to supplement with omega-3. I couldn't believe the coincidence. And he said, what do you know about omega-3? I said, well, right now I know quite a lot. And he said, have you ever heard of a Scandinavian company called Zinzino? I was like, no, never heard of it. And I said, and I quote, but if they make an omega-3 supplement, I can tell you now, it doesn't work. And he went, Colin, my doctor has told me that this is the one that does. And even better, they've got a test. And I went, brilliant. The oldest trick in the book. Isn't it? Yeah? Oldest trick in the book. Let's do a test. Yes, you're about to die. Take this magic potion, and I'm going to save your life. And you take the magic potion, you don't die, and you go, wow, that stuff's amazing. So I was like, yes, of course they've got a test, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, listen, Colin, he said, seriously. He said, will you take a look at it for me? He said, just go on the website, have a look, just let me know what you think, tell me the truth. He said, if you say this is rubbish, I'm not going to touch you. So I said, okay, I'll take a look. Now normally, and there are a few people in the room, Dr. Emily Jizlovic is here somewhere, there she is. Normally, I don't answer the phone if I'm doing something. I stay focused on what I'm doing. But I was welcoming a distraction. So I'd answered the phone, and I thought, you know what? I can spend 10 minutes on this. So I went and had a look, and I thought, the first thing I'm going to do is look at this test. And that was where the clock stopped. Because at the time, I was the lab director for the Queen's Laboratory in Greater Manchester. I know a lot about laboratories around the world, and I saw the name Vitas, Thomas Gunderson. And I thought, if this is a lie, that is a huge lie. That is like going out to a club and you're trying to chat someone up and you say, yeah, I'm like, the striker for Real Madrid. It's really easy to figure out that I'm not. Really easy. So I thought I'll give them a call. So I just rung up and I said, just out of interest, explained who it was, I'm on a website, this company, they're reporting, I don't know if you know this, but they're telling everyone that you independently do all of their DBS, dry blood spot samples, omega-3, fatty acid profile. I said, are you aware of this? And they went, yeah. So it's like our best customer. I was like, okay, calm down. And so I rung my friend back and I said, listen, I need to look at this. I need more time. So the next thing I did is I loaded up the page for the omega-3 supplement. And that, in all seriousness now, was the moment when I went, there is the solution. And I'm not arrogant, but I like to think of myself as reasonably intelligent. And I went, why didn't I think of this? Genuinely, at the moment, I imagined the yacht, the mansion, the Bugatti. Why didn't I think of this? But it made so much sense immediately. And I don't really have time today to go into all of that. And actually, there's better people in the room, like Dr. Emily Jizlovic, who I think we should all give a big round of applause to.